And Greg, you can get us started.
Jeff, how are you doing today?
We're good. We're good.
Cool. How I want to get the update on Lowell. What can you tell us about his status?
It was a severe ankle injury, required surgery, looking at 4 to 6 months recovery. Still in the hospital and in good spirits, and typical Lowell, talking about how he's going to fight back and be ready to go for spring ball.
Obviously, that's a tough situation for him, just with all he's been through to get to this point and earn the starting job. How was he handling it emotionally from what you've talked to him?
Of course, at first, it was very devastating, and he's calmed down a little bit now. And he has a tremendous faith-based background, been through a lot, losing his father at a younger age, and had to deal with a lot in his life. So he believes that he'll come back from this and be better for it, and we're going to help him in that process.
What have you seen from Frank Harris now, just sort of going forward and having this opportunity again? What does that mean to him from what you can gather?
He says he's healthy, and I hope he's right. We need him to be healthy. We need him to play well right now.
Does he look 100% healthy to you? How do you evaluate what you've seen?
It's always hard to evaluate Frank. He walks like an old man. He always has. His high school coach told me that's the way his gait's been his whole life. So that's always hard. Zakari walks like an old man. I mean, Zakari always looks like he's injured too, walking around. So it's just hard to evaluate those guys because they walk like me at a very young age. So he tells me he's fine. I have to trust Frank, and we don't have another option now. Like I told him in the beginning, if Sincere were a little limping and we have another healthy back, would you play the other back? And Frank's like, yes, I would do that. I said, okay. Okay, so now if you're limping a little bit and I have another healthy quarterback, would you play the other quarterback? And he's like, no, I see what you're doing to me now. So, he says he's good to go, and we have to trust him. Our medical staff says he's good to go, so we're going to let him go.
How did Frank handle not being the starter last week? That must have been tough because he's been through a lot to get to this moment and have this opportunity as well.
He was okay. He wasn't great. I don't want him to be great with it. I don't want any competitor to be great with it. So, he's a young man, and they're not always going to like my decisions. So I understand that he's a competitor, and he didn't like my decision.
Did you talk to him about how to handle it and the right way to move forward, the way to be a good teammate and stuff like that through losing the job?
Oh, yeah. We do that with all of our players, not just Frank. That's all of them. He's not the only one that gets bad news. There's only 22 of them that like me on Saturday. The other 90 are mad. So it's just part of our job. We understand that as a head coach, and it's still hard. We've all been those guys before when you're receiving the bad news. And I tell them all the same thing. I make mistakes. We've chosen the wrong ones before. When you get your chance, be so good that we can't take you out of the game. It's really that simple. Just be so good that we can't take you out. And that's what Lowell did at BYU. He just played so good we couldn't take him out. And that's the advice I give all of them. My daughter, when she moved to Lake Travis, she wasn't the starting setter. She thought she should have been. I said, when she puts you out there, just play so good she can't take you out. That's what you teach all kids.
So now if Frank were to get hurt this week, what do you have at quarterback behind him? What would be the move there?
Sutton, Sapien will be up next, and then Cam Peters will be next.
How much have you seen him, Sutton? We haven't seen him on the field yet here. What can you tell us about him and his readiness if something like that were to arise?
We'll find out tomorrow. Sutton hadn't had any work because we've had the other kids all working. So just like all year, it'll be the next man up, and Sutton will get his reps now. And that'll be my job and Coach Lundy's job to get him ready. So if called upon, he can go execute and make it fair to Sutton.
How do you evaluate the play of the shuffled offensive line overall when you had a chance to look back at it from the film this weekend?
They were incredible. We had three critical mistakes on pass protection, only a couple of runs that weren't spotted up correctly. Coach Maddox deserves a lot of credit for what he's had to go through this year, and those kids deserve a lot of credit. I think we've played now 11 or 12 offensive linemen. I still don't know if we've gone the same lineup back. I don't know. We have. I know you guys would know that probably better than me. Have we ever had the same 5 start 2 weeks in a row? I don't know that we have. Maybe we have once.
Maybe once, yeah.
You'd like to get that situation fit. It's just hard. I feel terrible for Coach Lonnie and our kids. It's just hard. And I've said it. I'm gonna say it again. I love to read books. Chapter 1 of our book was entertaining, which is like what most books are. They get you in. So we went double overtime to get you guys locked in. We're in the middle of the book right now, and there's usually a plot twist where things start going bad. And we've had a little 3-game stretch. But the best chapter of every book is always the last chapter. And we've had enough bad luck. It's time for our luck to change. And we're going to have good luck from here forwards. And the chapters are going to keep getting better each week. And the best chapter of the book is going to be written week 12. That's what I believe. I'm proclaiming it, and we're going to hold to it.
Talking about that offensive line, Mekhi Hart got his first look on the left side after getting a shot at the right. Did he show you anything there that you hadn't seen before, or how did he adapt to that?
Yeah, he's a really good player. I mean, he plays very well, and that was a really good recruit for us, and we're excited about that. And Maka played well again. We didn't play the tempo we wanted to, Greg. Maka was just trying to communicate so much up there. Maka was getting all 5 of those guys, and I'm just griping on the headsets. And it's the first time I wore the shield, so y'all could read my lips. And I was an angel when I had my mouth covered up, because y'all couldn't see me fussing and griping. But I was wanting to snap it, and bless his heart, he's communicating, and we're just not playing. We look like a team that plays with a lot of quarterbacks and a lot of offensive linemen, to be honest with you. And I take responsibility. That's my job to coach them better, and we'll do that.
And there was another hurdle you guys hit with that just within the game when Brandon Rolfe went down. What's his status going forward? Is that going to be a long-term thing?
He's getting an MRI today, and we'll know more. We'll know more today. But Terrell Haynes came out there and played well, and we're very proud of Terrell. And each kid we've asked to go out there just keep stepping up. And I'm really proud of those guys that Ernesto went out there and played well. So if we can ever get through this, like I told y'all at the end of the book, where the chapters are going to be really exciting, and the best part, we're going to have a lot of depth. At some point we're going to get JoJo back. At some point we're going to get Josh back. We'll have Frank healthy again. So we'll get depth at quarterback that's all played in this year. And we've got a lot of linemen that have played. So I hope to get all these kids back at some point. The only one that's been season ending has been Lowell. And I know we've been bit by the injury bug, but we had to stay positive and know that we're going to get these kids back. We just got to keep hope alive, Greg.
We didn't talk about Zachary Franklin after the game, but he had a huge showing as well. What did you see from him? How was he able to get open so many times against this defense?
Well, they just weren't going to let us get behind them. They made a conscious effort to keep everything in front. Played a lot of 2-deep zone, which we've not had that much at all this year, which is a tremendous compliment to our passing game, finally. Means our receivers are starting to get better, and our quarterbacks are putting the ball on them. So a lot of in front stuff, and he took advantage of that. And Coach Lonnie did a good job of scheming that, getting the ball.
And Sincere McCormick also had a pretty big game, of course, and still leads the NCAA in rushing. How much is that number something you guys keep an eye on? Do you take pride in him being atop that leaderboard?
Those kind of things are just good for recruiting. Obviously for Sincere, Psyche, our offensive line. Those are just fun things that give the team something to be proud of in a very difficult 3-game stretch. We've played not only three teams that's combined record is 14-2, they also bring a very physical style of football they play. And I just, as I've told y'all, I just didn't feel like Saturday. We played hard. We just didn't have that extra punch that I'm used to us having. I don't want to dare say went through the motions. That would be an unfair characteristic of how hard our kids played. I could just tell they were really having to strain to give me what they gave me.
Just sort of getting a look at them on Sunday and now whatever kind of exposure you get today, how do you think they're holding up as you look to another game week or another practice week of having to go through all that stuff again? Where are they at physically?
I'll know more Tuesday. Nick's report gets longer and longer each week, Nick Turner. But it's what you would expect, except for the quarterback situation. The rest of it's pretty normal, I would say, of playing 6 straight weeks. And you got to remember those kids came in for those walkthroughs. I mean, these kids have been at it for a while now. You had walkthroughs, then fall camp. So it's been a tremendous grind on them psychologically, mentally, physically. But they were all here yesterday on time. Bright-eyed and bushy-tailed. They're disappointed. It's never as bad as you think, Greg. It's never as good. And I really try to hammer those kids that we had to stay true to our culture and are each one of us doing our very best. And are we getting better every single day? And if all of us do that, we'll be a better football team. And I trust my guys are doing that.
Flipping over to the defensive side, we saw Kelechi came up with 16 tackles in this game. What stood out about his play, why he was able to get to the ball so much?
Well, Coach Lip and Coach Nix, they made it. Those safeties got to make a lot of plays because of the way they scheme you. And Kelechi's an intelligent kid with a lot of character that, again, he was injured early, and he just keeps getting better each week. He's starting to be healthy and get practice reps, which is showing up, and high IQ, tough guy. And high IQ, tough guys do well.
How about Ken Robinson? He was in that same group of making a lot of stops. What did he show you?
Another example of a kid that was injured that just kept battling his way back. He's finally getting healthy, getting reps again. High IQ, high character, tough kid, and played really well, which is great because now we've got Corey, Tariq, and Ken that have all gone in the game and played well.
I was going to ask because we've seen him miss the first couple of games and then really expand his role. I guess that was entirely injury related. How much time did he miss?
Yes, sir. It was injury related. I would probably, I'd have to chat with Nick. I'd say anywhere from 4 to 5 weeks probably.
And you mentioned Tariq. We didn't get to see him play against Army. Is that just because they're going to run the ball so much, or is there something else with him that we need to be looking out for?
No. He plays with one hand. And Ken has really been tackling well, and so has Corey. And there wasn't going to be a lot of pass coverage in this game. We just thought it would be a good week for Tariq to maybe get a week off of that and just to take care of him, honestly.
And then when we asked after the game, you had said you wanted to get another look at some of the penalties and kind of evaluate what went on there. Is there anything you saw from your film review that stood out?
Well, I had to be very careful because if I comment on officiating where I didn't agree, that could be money out of my pocket, so I don't ever want to go there. There's always a couple of those. Officials are not perfect, and neither am I. I made mistakes in the game, and I'll make them every game. You'd have to go through each one of them. We left the pocket early, which when the offensive linemen don't expect you to come out that early, it's hard to that's when you get holding penalties, right? You had the one personal foul on our defensive lineman, number 45, hitting the quarterback late. You can go watch that one for yourself and let me know what you think about that. We had the block in the back on the receiver on the other sideline. You can go watch that one and let me know what you think. So you got to take each one of them. But there is a constant theme, which is that we have too many penalties each week, and that has to stop. And we had the two offensive line, the two jumps on the line, which If you go watch the game, they're all kind of explained. You can explain each one of them. The problem is, Greg, it just keeps showing up each week, right? So what is that? That is the hardest part for me as a coach. So if I go through and look at each one of them, they're all pretty self-explanatory. The problem is there's 9 of them, and we got to get that cut down.
But it sounds like then, since each one can kind of be explained or taken on its own, that there's not like a bigger picture concern about discipline in the larger sense or things like that.
Right, because that's what you fear. I mean, that's when you look up every week and you see 9 penalties for 70 yards, you go, my gosh, I have an undisciplined football team. The one thing I would say is on special teams, we've got to quit getting penalties on return. But they're all aggressive plays. And I know y'all can tell me about me. We bring an edge. We bring an edge. It's hard to be both, right? It's just hard to be both. And that's the balance. And I know I use that word a ton, of being the triangle of toughness and being a mentally and physically tough football team on defense, run the football, tough on teams, but knowing when to pull back. And maybe your block is a shield block versus a knockout block. You can't do those kind of blocks anymore. Pretty much on special teams, if you knock anybody to the ground, you're getting a penalty. And it's young guys that keep doing it. Young, excited players that are just so glad to be on the field that I've got to get that fixed. And that's on me as the head coach. And we got to get that fixed.
How about this week, looking ahead to Louisiana Tech? What's the kind of early scouting report on them? What jumps out?
A program that's won a lot of football games, that's used to winning. Playing a program that's playing very, very hard, that's not used to winning, and trying to find that balance of how to try so hard but play smart. That's what this is to me. It's a battle of one program trying to get like the other program. That those guys are used to winning. You can just tell teams that are used to winning find ways to win ball games, and teams that are used to losing find ways to lose ball games. And we have to become a program that wins. Success breeds success. You got to look like a winner and act like a winner before you're ever a winner. And we are doing that every single day, and we're getting closer. We're getting closer. I know y'all probably can't tell because we've lost 3 in a row. But when you pull back and you don't get so close to the picture, you can see, wow, those guys lost 4 quarterbacks in 3 weeks, and they still were within 1 play. You could question a coach's decision. And whenever you can question a coach's decision in every game that might have cost you the game, that's a good sign, because that means you're close, right? If you're not ever questioning my decisions, it means it's blowout city, and it doesn't really matter. So I need y'all to always be saying, Coach, what were you thinking on this? Because that means we're not very far away.
Just looking at the Louisiana Tech stats so far, it seems like they play 2 quarterbacks pretty regularly. What is the dynamic like of preparing for that defensively?
They both do different things. One of them's more of a passer, and one of them's been with his feet a little bit more. So Skip's kind of going through what we're going through here, that each quarterback's just got different skill sets. So who knows which ones we'll see Saturday. We might see both of them. Who knows?
Does anything change about your guys' approach and mentality in the big picture now, getting to the conference season and looking at 6 straight weeks of that, where these games really kind of count for more in a certain sense?
It's just not the way I believe. You know, you can't have a culture where you say every day is the most important day, and you're going to do your best every day, and we're going to grade ourselves on how good we were each day, and then say, but this game means more. Now, wait a minute, Coach. You said every day was the most important day. How are you going to win the day? Also, there's certain days more important than other days. Now, we also are humans, and we understand that, you know, this is a chance for us to play a really good conference. Let's be honest, UAB and Louisiana Tech would probably be the 2 teams you would say are the elite teams. I know North Texas has been up there before. They all have kind of, but Louisiana Tech and UAB have been very consistent. And we understand there's a great opportunity here, but that's kind of counter to what our culture speak is around here.
Is there anything else for Coach Traylor? All right. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, Jeff. Appreciate it.
Thank y'all. God bless. Birds up.